Hello, my grade 9 students! Welcome back to another math session with Ma'am Shei. And for today, we are now on our school year 2021-2022. So welcome back, my dear students! In this video, we will be talking about quadratic equation. So make sure your ballpen and papers are all set. Are you ready? But please, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Halina't matuto!
In this lesson, the most essential learning competency is to illustrate quadratic equations. And also, you will solve quadratic equations by, first is extracting square roots, second, by factoring, by completing the square, and of course, using the quadratic formula. So before we begin with our topic, let us first recall the definition of a linear equation. So you have learned this during your previous grade. This linear equation in one variable. So it is an equation in the degree of 1. And it can be written in the form of ax plus b is equal to 0. So let us now take a look on this example of a linear equation. So we have 2x plus 5 is equal to 0. So how can we determine if it is in the degree of 1? Now let us recall that take note that the degree corresponds to the exponent of the variable in each term. So we will begin with it corresponds to the exponent of the variable in each term. So we have here for x cubed, it is in the degree of 3. 2x squared, it is in the degree of 2. 3x is in the degree of 1. And the constant term is in the degree of 0. Now, the degree of the polynomial or the degree of the equation refers to the degree of the highest degree term. Kung ano daw yung pinakamataas na degree. And here, in this polynomial, the highest degree is 3. So, therefore, this polynomial is in the degree of 3. Did you get it? Now, what is the exponent or the highest exponent of our equation 2x plus 5 is equal to 0. Okay, very good. If you notice, the degree of 2x is 1. And how about 5? We have 0 degree. So, therefore, the highest exponent is 1. So, it is in the degree of 1. Okay? Next, let us have this another example. We have 3y minus z is equal to 10. Now, is it in the degree of 1? Yes, very good. So this is 1 and z is 1 again, 10 is 0. So the highest degree is 1. So therefore, it is again an example of a linear equation. For your learning task number 1, on page 6 of your module, you need to group the given equations into 2 based on observed common properties. So as you can see, you have given there 12 equations. So you just need to observe their common properties and group them. So on your intermediate paper, you need to draw 2 columns. So just like what you see in the screen. And then you have to put each equation based on their group. Now, I'm going to give you a hint. You have to group them based on the degree of the equation. So are you ready? You may begin. Let us now discuss your previous activity. If you notice, some of the equations are in the degree of 1, while some are in the degree of 2. Now, let us classify them. First is n squared minus 3n plus 10 equals 0. What is the degree of the equation? Alright, so that is 2. So you have to put it in one of the columns. Now, how about 25b squared minus 16 is equal to 0? What is the degree of the equation? Alright, so that is again 2. We need to put it in the first column. Next, d is equal to 3e minus 7. What is the degree? Okay, very good. Since the exponent is 1, so the degree of the equation is 1. So we have to put it in another column. 8 minus 3k equals 12, and that belongs to, very good. So that belongs to the 1-degree equation. Now, 3r plus 2e equals negative 6. That belongs to the first degree. How about 1/3 m squared plus 2m equals 4? Okay, so the highest exponent is 2, therefore it is in the degree of 2. So it belongs to the first column. How about 2y minus z equals 9? Oh, very good. So that is in the second column. How about 5w plus 5 equals 0? Okay, again, it is in the degree of 1. How about 10u minus 5 equals 8? That's it. So that is again in the degree of 1. How about 2x squared plus 2x plus 1 equals 0? Alright, so that is in the degree of 2 and we have to put it in the first column. How about f squared minus 3f plus 2 is equal to 0? Okay, so the highest exponent is 2, therefore the degree of the equation is 2. So we have in the first column. How about a squared equals 225? Very good. So again, this is in the first column. So that is how we classify and group the given equations based on the degree of the equation. Now, did you get it right? Very good. Based on our previous activity, the following equations are in the degree of 2. So we have n squared minus 3n plus 10 equals 0. We also have 25b squared minus 16 is equal to 0. We have 1/3 m squared plus 2m equals 4. And also, we have 2x squared plus 2x plus 1 is equal to 0. We have f squared minus 3f plus 2 is equal to 0. And of course, we have a squared is equal to 225. So these equations are what we called quadratic equation. Quadratic equation in one variable is an equation of degree 2 that can be written in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, where a, b, and c are real numbers and a is not equal to 0. So here in the standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, ax squared is what we call the quadratic term. It is the term in the degree of 2, or it is the term with exponent of 2. Bx is what we call the linear term. It is the term in which the exponent is 1, or the term with 1 exponent. And of course, we have c. C is what we call the constant term. So it is the term with a constant number. In our given definition of the quadratic equation, it states that a should not be equal to 0. Why? Okay, so let us have this standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Let us remember that when b is equal to 0, or the real number b is equal to 0, so in our standard form ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, our linear term or yung b natin ay magiging 0. So therefore, that will become ax squared plus c is equal to 0. So therefore, it is a quadratic equation in the form of ax squared plus c is equal to 0. That is the time when b is equal to 0. Nawawala yung ating b. Kasi yung b natin ay 0 na. So, it will become ax squared plus c is equal to 0. So, let us have these examples. First, x squared minus 16 is equal to 0. So, that is in the form of ax squared plus c is equal to 0. And therefore, it is still a quadratic equation even b is equal to 0. Or even b is missing. Even the linear term is missing, it is still a quadratic equation. Why? Because it is in the degree of 2. Another one. We have 25x squared minus 81 is equal to 0. Again, it is in the form of ax squared plus c is equal to 0. But it is still a quadratic equation because it is the degree of the equation is 2. And also, we have 5x squared equals 500. So that is again in the form of ax squared plus equals 0, or ax squared equals c. And therefore, it is still a quadratic equation since the highest degree or the highest exponent is 2. Did you understand? That is the time when b is equal to 0. So what about if c is equal to 0? So meaning to say the constant term is missing. So here we have ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0 when c is equal to 0. So therefore, the resulted equation will become ax squared plus bx is equal to 0. So yan na yung nangyari, nawala si constant term. So is it still a quadratic equation? Yes, of course, because it is still in the degree of 2, or the highest exponent is 2. Let's have these examples. First, we have x squared plus 3x is equal to 0. So we have the quadratic term and the linear term. The constant is missing, but is still a quadratic equation since the highest exponent is 2. And also, we have 5x squared minus x is equal to 0. This is the quadratic term, 5x squared. This is the linear term, we have negative x. The constant is missing, but still, this is a quadratic equation since the highest degree is, or the degree of the equation is 2. But how about if a is equal to 0? Okay, sabi dyan, diba? A should not be equal to 0. Why? Bakit? So, this is the reason why. In our standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, when a is 0, so therefore, mamimiss natin yung ax squared, or ibig sabihin, mawawala na si ax squared. So, the resulted equation becomes bx plus c is equal to 0. So, is that a quadratic equation? Bx plus equals to 0? No, it is not a quadratic equation because the highest degree will become 1. And 1, when the degree is 1, it is not a quadratic equation. The equation becomes a linear equation because it is in the degree of 1. So that is the reason why a should not be equal to 0. Always remember that. Let us now have the illustrative examples. Let us determine whether the following represents quadratic equation or not. So let us begin with our number 1. In our equation, we have 2x plus 5 is equal to 0. Is it a quadratic equation or not? Yes, definitely that is not a quadratic equation. Why? Okay, because the highest exponent is 1. So, therefore, the highest exponent is 1. It has 1 exponent. So, meaning to say, this is an example of a linear equation. Next, how about our equation number 2? We have 2x squared minus x minus 1 is equal to 0. So, here in our equation, is it a quadratic equation or not? Okay, very good. So that is an example of quadratic equation. So the question is it already, or is it in the standard form? We have 2x squared minus x minus 1 is equal to 0. Yes, the equation is in the standard form ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Wherein our ax squared is 2x squared or this is what we call the quadratic term. While our bx stands for negative x, or this is what we call the linear term. How about our c? Okay, correct. Our c, or constant term, is negative 1. Did you get it? Again, this is the quadratic term, the linear term, and the constant term. Now, let us identify the values A, B, and C, or the real numbers or yung mga numerical coefficient ng ating quadratic term, linear term, and constant term. Hanapin lang natin yung value mismo ni A, B, and C. So, that stands for the numerical coefficient. Kung ano yung katabi ni x squared. So, that is, eto yon. Now, let us begin with letter A. What is real value, real number A? We have, okay, very good. That is 2. Kasi yun po yung katabi ng ating x squared. So, that is 2. How about our B? Yung katabi ng x sa linear term. So, that is, okay, meron bang number tayo nakikita? Meron ba tayong numerical coefficient? Yes, meron po yan. And that is 1. Invisible nga lamang. So, B is equal to negative 1. How about C? Or yung constant term natin? Obviously, that is negative 1. Did you understand? That is how we get the values of the real numbers A, B, and C. Let us have another example. For our third example, we have 3x minus 4 is equal to 5x squared. So, is it a quadratic equation or not? Yes, so this is an example of a quadratic equation. Why? Bakit ba siya naging quadratic equation? Okay, so if you notice, the highest degree is 2. Therefore, it is a quadratic equation. But if you notice, it is not yet in the standard form. Kasi diba, ang standard form natin should be ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So, is equal to 0. So, therefore, it is not yet in the standard form. So, what are we going to do? So, always remember, we have to change it first into standard form bago natin kukunin yung real numbers A, B, and C. Okay? So, here, to make it in standard form, we have to apply transposition. Kasi, diba, we have left side and the right side. Ang ating 5x squared or the quadratic term is in the right side. So, dapat magkakasama po lahat sila into one side. So, therefore, yung 5x squared will become negative 5x squared. Inilipat po natin siya to the left side. And how about positive 3x? Inilipat ba natin to? Okay, not anymore kasi nandun, itatabi lang natin siya kay quadratic term. So, that will become positive 3x. How about negative 4? Okay, again, we don't have to transpose it. Hayaan natin siyang naririto kay left side. So, that will become negative 5x squared plus 3x minus 4. How about yung right side natin? Hindi po pwedeng basta yan ganyan. So, since wala na naman tayong natira dito, let us just put 0. So, meaning, the resulting equation is negative 5x squared plus 3x minus 4 is equal to 0. But take note, there should be no negative sign in our quadratic term. Okay, dito wala daw dapat negative. Hindi daw dapat negative si A. So, what are we going to do? We have to multiply both sides. That is only, case lang siya if the A is negative. Kapag ang A negative, we have to make it positive. How? That is by multiplying both sides by negative 1. So, negative 1 times negative 5x squared is equal to positive 5x squared. Positive 3x times negative 1 is equal to negative 3x. Negative 4 times negative 1 that is positive 4 is equal to 0 times negative is still 0. So, therefore, the resulting equation is 5x squared minus 3x plus 4 is equal to 0. So, ito na po yung ating standard form wherein ang ating quadratic term is 5x squared. Ang ating linear term is negative 3x. And our Constant term is positive 4. Huwag niyong kakalimutan yung sign nila. Okay? Yung negative is para kay 3x. Ano? At yung positive ay para kay 4. Kung ano po yung nasa right nung ating mismong term, ay pagmamay-ari niya po iyon. Okay? So, how about 5x squared? What is the sign? Okay, so that is positive. Ano? Now, since we already know this and we already changed it into standard form, let us now identify the real numbers a, b, and c. What is the value of a? Very good. So that is positive 5. How about the value of b? That is negative 3. And how about the value of c? That is positive 4. So a is equal to 5, b is equal to negative 3, and c is equal to 4. Let us have this fourth example. So we have our given is 2x plus 3 times x minus 1. So is it a quadratic equation or not? Okay. So, at first look, we may classify it as linear equation since the degree that we can see here or the exponent that we can see here is 1. This is 1 and this is 1. But be careful because some of the equations are tricky. You know? So, it is not yet, if you notice, the equation is not yet written in standard form or there is a still operation. Diba? 2x plus 3, then times x minus 1. Yung parenthesis, it represents multiplication. So, therefore, meron pa siyang operation. Why not let us simplify it first? Since it is not written in the standard form yet. So, how are we going to simplify it? Okay, since the given is 2x times x, 2x plus 3 times x minus 1 equals 0, we just need to apply. Diba, ito ay 2 binomials. 2 binomials na multiply natin or multiplying 2 binomials. So, therefore, we can apply FOIL method. In FOIL method, we have, we have first terms, 2x times x is equal to 2x times x. Next is, we have outer terms or 2x times negative 1. And then the inner terms, sa FOIL method tayo ha. So, we have positive 3 times positive x. And also, we have the last term or positive 3 times negative 1. And that is equal to 0. We just need to perform the operations. We have what is 2x times x. Okay, we have 2x squared. How about positive 2x times negative 1? Sama dito yung positive ha. Positive 2x times negative 1, that is negative 2x. Very good. How about positive 3 times x? We have positive 3x. And positive 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. And that is equal to 0. Now, let us combine like terms. Magkaparehas pa po ng terms ito. Okay, so ang 2x squared, we just need to copy it. And then negative 2x plus 3x, and that is, okay, very good. So that is x. Positive x. Kasi mas malaki yung, yung 3. So therefore, we just need to copy the sign of the larger number. So that is positive x. And then minus 3 is equal to 0. Is it already in a standard form? Yes po. We have ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So, it is in a standard form. Now, ang tanong ko, is it a quadratic equation or not? Very good. So, it is a quadratic equation since ang degree na natin ay 2. See? So, dito, akala natin nung una, ang degree niya is 1. Ano? So, please, let us have, or let us be careful. So, this is 2x squared plus x minus 3 equals 0. And this is an example of a quadratic equation. Wherein, the quadratic term is 2x squared. This is the linear term, positive x, and negative 3 is the constant term. Now, let us find a, b, c. Where a is 2. Our b is, okay, 1. May 1 po tayo dito. Ano? Now, how about the constant term? We have negative 3. On your module, on page 11, you have there learning task number 2. So here, in letter A, you have to complete the table below. So what is the table looks like? Okay, ganito po. So we have given equation, and then the standard form, ax squared plus bx plus equals to 0. And also, you need to find the values of a, b, and c. Now, I'm going to show you an example for, let's say, in number 1, we have 4x minus 2x squared equals to 7. So, how are we going to change it into standard form? So, kailangan daw maisulat natin dito ang standard form na ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So, what are we going to do? So, in case like that, on your scratch paper, you will have your solution. We have 4x minus 2x squared equals 7 since this requires transposition. So, yung 7 ay nasa right side, lalagay natin siya sa left side. And as well as, yung negative 2x squared natin ay nasa middle pa. So, kailangan ang unang term natin ay ang quadratic term or the ax squared. So, that will become negative 2x squared. Okay, we don't need to change the sign kasi hindi naman tayo naglipat ng side. Kapag lang tayo naglipat ng side, dun lang tayo mag-change ng sign. How about positive 4x? Lilipat ba rin natin or papalitan din ba natin ito ng sign? Okay, hindi po kasi still andun naman siya sa left side, positive 4x. How about 7? Yung constant term natin. Okay, so ito yung papalitan natin ang sign. Since nasa right side siya at ilalagay natin siya sa left side, so that will become negative 7 is equal to 0. Is it already in standard form? Okay, may kulang pa po kasi still ang ating a is negative. So, in order to make it positive, we have to multiply both sides by negative 1. So, negative 2x squared times negative 1 is positive 2x squared. Positive 4x times negative 1 is negative 4x. And negative 7 times negative 1, negative times negative is positive 7 is equal to 0. So, therefore, the standard form is 2x squared minus 4x plus 7 is equal to 0. So, anong gagawin natin dyan? Okay, we have to put it in our table. So, therefore, the answer is 2x squared minus 4x plus 7 is equal to 0. Okay? Next, what about the values of a, b, and c? What is the value of a? Very good. So, that is 2. How about b? Okay, we have negative 4. And how about c? We have a positive 7. So, that is how we do that. Okay, did you understand? Okay, I hope so. Now, how about if the given is like this? We have 3x squared times x minus 2. 3x times x minus 2 is equal to 8. So, how about that? Okay, so if you notice, this is not yet in the standard form and we cannot easily identify whether it is a quadratic equation or not kasi meron pa tayo ditong operation to be performed. Okay, so in that case, you need to, in your scratch paper, you need to have your solution. So, yung 3x times x minus 2 equals 8 natin, i-perform muna natin ang operation. A monomial and a binomial. So, therefore, we will apply the distributive property. So, 3x times x is, okay, 3x squared. 3x times negative 2 is, very good. So, that is negative 6x is equal to 8. Now, is it already in standard form? Okay, no. So, may operation pa bang gagawin? Okay, wala na po. So, you just need to transpose 8 to the other side. So, that will become 3x squared minus 6x. Kinopya lamang natin. And then, positive 8 will become negative 8 since tinranspose natin is equal to 0. So, therefore, Ang ating standard form is equal to 3x squared minus 6x minus 8 is equal to 0. So again, we will put it inside the table and that will become 3x squared minus 6x minus 8 is equal to 0. Now, in identifying the values of A, B, and C, A is equal to, very good, that is positive 3. How about our B? Yes, that is correct, negative 6. And for our constant term, we have, or for our value of C, we have negative 8. So, that's it. Congratulations, my dear students! We have made it. Thank you for letting me be part of your studying at home. Don't forget the hashtag Learn at Home with Mom Shei. So please do share this to your classmates and friends. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. This is your Mom Shei, your guide in learning at home during your modular distance learning. Goodbye!
This video tutorial is made especially for you in Learning Mathematics 9. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe.